So I guess for agenda approval, Rod, it doesn't look like Wendy's. Was the entire committee on Wendy's email, or was it just us? It looks like because of the.
I didn't get anything from Wendy.
No, I think we better. Actually, that's a good point. So do you want to add that on, Steph, just to update from?
We'll add and take away, I guess. So I sent links for that Allison shared about the provincial supports provided, but Wendy won't be speaking today because of the election.
Oh, right.
But I thought she was going to attend, but I don't see her here. So
I doubt she could do that either.
Yeah. No, she did say the Rod. She said she could speak to something, but not the other things. So
yeah, my understanding, and we can talk, maybe we should just add this to the agenda in Wendy's section if she's not here, just to get some clarification about provincial programs and what people can expect during the election time.
Wild speculation, item 5.1.
Yeah. Well, I think there's enough knowledge in the group that we can probably get some clarity. And then the other thing that I don't think is on the agenda, but I would like to just add, I was asked by a group that's looking at the greenhouse project for investment readiness program funding. And they'd asked council for a letter or sent a request for a letter of support from the municipality, and they also had sent one to me via either me personally or for the Community Economic Development Committee. So I thought if we could just discuss that briefly as a group, that would be helpful too.
And then I want to look at
this 7.2, I guess. Yeah. And it's the, I was looking at it last night. I can't remember what it's called.
The CSAP, the Business Navigator program. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, the farm thing, the agriculture.
Yes. Oh, the agriculture.
You should put that under other business.
Yeah, let's put it under other business.
And then did we want the letter of support for the grant application, Rod? Did you want to?
That would be raised under other business when we talk about it.
Yeah, can we do that? Add that to other business.
Okay. And just a heads up, I don't have my computer. Mine's destroyed. And so I don't have access to a lot of documents. I could just have access to the internet. So I might need some support from you guys if we want to do a share screen.
Okay.
So what happened to your computer?
Just went black. Friday.
Oh no. Have you got backup, Steph?
On servers that I can't get at.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, everything's fine as far as data. Just about, I'm not very useful to you right now for being able to access information.
Because you can't access the main servers.
Right.
Highlighting resiliency and adaptability in emergency situations.
And staying calm.
And staying calm. Yeah. Okay. So any other additions or clarifications, changes to the agenda? No? Okay. So
you might want to change it from province to provincial matters or something, just so that it's not implying that it's somebody that's actually speaking on behalf of the province.
Sure.
Provincial liaison or?
No, you can't.
No, not the person.
No. Okay.
Can I ask one thing? I believe I saw, I think I had to leave early on the last meeting. So I believe the municipality is putting out to finish up the economic development report. And I think I missed how that was going.
Maybe a council update under council, we can do an update on that.
Yeah, because I'm wondering because I think there was changes and I'm sorry, I may have missed it from the last meeting.
No, that's a very good point, Jody, and I think Maureen was nodding, and we can definitely get an update on what council has approved and where we're at with that. Okay, so someone move to approve the agenda?
Yes.
Okay, we'll take Marcus, and all in favor, you say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, there's my hand. Okay. Okay, so, and against or not approving? Nope, none. Okay, so adoption of the minutes from our April 27th. Is that really our last meeting?
No, June. It should be June, I believe.
Am I looking at the wrong agenda? I am looking at the wrong agenda. Bear with me.
Say July 27th.
Yeah.
And that's what my agenda says.
Yeah, no, I opened the wrong link.
I'll do the adoption with one slight correction, which I emailed to Steph last night.
Thank you.
On adjournment.
I said termination.
No, you said the chair called the meeting to order.
Oh.
So I think you should say the chair adjourned the meeting.
Okay.
So I'll move adoption as amended.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, thank you. And all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all in favor.
Action items.
Action items. Yeah,
Let me
sorry,
do it.
just bear with me while I'm getting my documents organized. I thought I had
I can
them
do it, Rod, if you want.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, so number one, Wendy Co. reach out to Small Business BC regarding digital marketing enhancements. She did that. And Rod and Wendy and I met with the gentleman from Small Business BC. And we've scheduled a digital meetup, which will be publicized to the city, the island, on Tuesday, October 6th at 9:00 a.m. So he will share, what's his name, Rod? Right. Anyways, he will share information about the BC marketplace and will be available for questions about other opportunities offered by Small Business BC.
What was the date again, Steph?
Tuesday, October 6th at 9 a.m.
Thanks.
Now, number two, staff contact Ferry Advisory Committee regarding having water bottle filling station installed at Snug Cove Terminal. I did this, Jody. The FAC chair reminded me that I had already done it. They had brought it up at their last FAC meeting. They haven't met since the pandemic, but when they next meet, she will bring it up again. That's where that stands. Two, when I was in the office battling with my computer on Friday, a member of the Rotary Club came in and asked to speak to Public Works about the Rotary Club raising money to buy and install a water bottle filling station. Their idea was to be by the on the dock by the bookshelves. So there would be lots of different bits and bobs involved with BC Hydro and water lines, etc. there, but that is happening. So I just flagged it for the Director of Engineering to make sure that these two initiatives don't clash. But Rotary might be faster than Barry, so maybe touch base with them. And that's kind of happening in the background.
It's great.
Yeah, it was nice.
Thank you.
You came in.
The other thing that occurred to me with the BC Ferries one is they do have a water tap filling station on the ferry, unless it's been closed because of the I haven't been upstairs, so is the cafe still open? Because there was always a cold water spout there that you could fill your water bottles with.
But I think it's the same as they have washrooms where it's people just aren't thinking of it until they get onto dry land.
Yeah, well.
Is that true? I'm assuming it's the same.
People, my suggestion would be to put the water bottle filling station by the visitor center would make more sense to me, just because people blow by that dock area if you're coming off the ferry. I think it makes sense to kind of centralize amenities in one place so people kind of know where to go.
So it would be challenging for me to convince BC Ferries to put a water filling station not on their land, but over in Metro land.
No, I'm talking about the Rotary.
Oh, okay. So yeah, could you talk about that for sure?
And I'm quite aware that BC Ferries has got redevelopment of the Snug Cove thing, but I mean, that's probably years off. I suspect that they won't do anything prior to that.
He seems to think they might, but we won't. Yeah, I won't know until next they meet.
Oh, there's no harm in getting 2 water bottle filling stations.
Yeah, that's true. One is Rod Vaughn and Natasha meet to strategize communicating the island comeback opportunity to local businesses. Do you want to talk about that during the
yeah, we'll update you on what we've been doing and where that's at.
Okay, action items done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great.
Updates.
Yeah, so shall we get then right into, I know we moved updates for the province and Wendy's not here, but we still can do that now. I mean, I think that's a good area for us to spend some time in talking this morning as well. So, so with regards to the Community Economic Recovery Infrastructure Program information, that's okay, so there's 2 programs that we're talking about then. This infrastructure program is something that was just announced, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And what, I guess, do the councillors or anyone have more idea? Because then the election was announced just after the program. That's what I saw.
Yeah.
From my perspective, I don't have any additional information.
I don't either.
What is online. There's a fair amount. The 4 streams, the community economic resilience, destination development, unique heritage infrastructure, and rural economic recovery. I mean, there are a number of potential projects that we could bat about. The great challenge with this program is that the project has to be essentially shovel ready, and the grant application is due by the 29th of October. So it's a very, very short timeline.
And I wonder, you know, within the community, and this is a question that probably goes around and around, but there are a number of people who have ideas for projects at various stages. Some are within organizations and group, you know, community groups outside of the municipality entirely. And how do those groups, you know, how are we as a municipality or as us as a committee helping to sort of synthesize the whole of what's going on in terms of projects and programs? Because all of these things are going to impact economic development, certainly in our community, if people do have an opportunity to move forward in housing or in heritage and so on. So is there space for us to have I don't know, I don't know, I want to call it a town hall, but some kind of dialogue to try to start to get this information in one place?
Rod, I'm not sure what information you're looking for.
Well, you know, again, I'm not very aware of who might be interested in and who might be thinking about making an application under this program, for instance.
Well, this program can only be applied for by a local government or a not-for-profit.
Right. Okay.
So that tourism Bowen could apply, or because there's a heritage stream, BIPA or the historians could apply. Now,
do we have an idea with this program whether, you know, again, given that the election was called, is this an ongoing program that I just saw news information about, or is this something that is announced specifically at this time?
I think it's the latter. I have not seen ever a project of this sort with a commitment to heritage funding. So I
Yeah.
think it's unprecedented.
Yeah. So, I mean, my thought goes to the Heritage Preservation Society or the other, you know, groups on Bowen that are in that area. You know, are they even aware of this program at this point? And if they are, do they have thoughts about it? And, you know, is there some sort of, you know, we have a certain amount of budget that we've allocated for COVID response from the CEDC. And, you know, is there a certain amount of staff time and so on? I think that, so if there was someone who needed assistance to be able to look at this in this tight timeline, you know, just to even get a top level assessment of whether their ideas or projects might be viable or even happen, you know, is there something that we can do as a committee to reach out? That's as far as I've got with it.
Rod, there's another piece of that one which I noticed on the information about that grant is that you also have to register for a BC ID, which can take, if you don't already have it, when I'm guessing most groups might not, it takes, I think it said 15 days. So if you're going to apply, you have to first of all apply for the ID, probably very soon, so that you have that, so you can apply by the 29th deadline. But I guess also I'm just kind of, I get your drift here. Sorry, everybody, and I was late today. So
yeah, thanks for joining us.
You know, what is our role? What is our role as a committee or the municipality to, I guess as our committee, that's what we're here for, to ensure that people have this information. Is, you know, is that our role, or do we have the capacity to do that?
Can we fold it into the Tuesday general information sessions? For example,
do the not-for-profits participate in that session?
Of course.
Well, not so much. I mean, we have Jody's participating from tourism, and I think that's Jamie from the arts. So that's yeah. I guess the answer is yes. There are some, but I think there are other groups that aren't, for sure, that are not represented.
There's not. I don't think there's that many groups. So if the committee wanted to reach out and say, hey, look, this opportunity's come up. Do you want to jump on a meeting? Is this something, do you have a project that you're hoping to do? Like, for instance, I mean, to me, I see this grant and I go, oh my God. I mean, at the moment, both the provincial and federal governments are kind of throwing money out in the name of COVID and economic recovery. And I look at this and there's so many potential things that, for instance, would help destination development. Heritage could be, you know, could all be done under one of their examples they give here, Community Gateway. And I keep going on about a washroom and water fountain and amenities that this community really, really needs, not just for visitors, but also for residents. And
so, Jody, it's interesting. Washrooms is one of the specific things listed when you click on the destination one.
I know. And
yeah.
But I love they've got a project description called Community Gateway. Well, that could encompass heritage, like, you know, Davies Orchard, which is now Metro. But I mean, it could include under Community Gateway destination development in that way, getting some infrastructure amenities, but also maybe supporting programs, better trail signage. I mean, I was approached by Destination BC a few weeks ago, and I did reach out to Bonnie and to Emma and to Patrick, and saying that the government's probably the lead up to this program. And the only one that really got back to me with, you know, saying was Emma about, you know, the multi-use pathway. But I mean, there's so many new trail signage, you know, Mount Gardner, the Trail Society, they could probably use money to improve the signage there. I mean, there's a ton of things that could potentially fall under destination development. That's my thought. That's from my experience and what I'm seeing.
So Jody, are you planning on applying?
Well,
as tourism, I mean, like, yeah.
Well, I would.
Are you registered nonprofit?
Yes.
We're a yes, we're a registered nonprofit. We have the BCID.
Okay.
It makes sense, but you know, this is, as Maureen pointed out, they're looking for, you know, shovel ready projects, and part of whatever we do would need to get approval from council and endorsement from the municipality. So I mean, there's all these steps, and the timeline is tight. But on the other hand, I'm like, oh my God, this is money that could be so important to the community and could help, you know, in so many ways. So I'm torn. I would love to be able to apply. I don't know if I have the capacity to do that, or what support I could get to do that, but maybe Rod, as you're saying, maybe reach out to see like what Heritage.
But Jody, when it says shovel ready, it says construction doesn't have to start until 2021.
Yeah, no. Hey, I'm an optimist, and I know. I think this is an opportunity for the community. I do.
Like when I read it, you could basically write a tourism reinvigoration strategy, because you're only allowed 2 applications per organization. So you obviously want your budget to be as big as possible, right? So the closer you get to $500,000 or $1 million, the better. So you could do toilets, the water bottle, signage, etc., all in one application. And then, I mean, isn't there a trail organization? They could do an application for trails. Municipality could do an application. And the swimming pool people could do that.
my only thought about that is I'm thinking it would be better to do a collaborative application in the sense that the trail signage would because I don't think when the province looks at these that they would hand out a half a dozen different applications to just Bowen Island. You know what I mean? But if sorry,
there's a restriction of 2.
Yeah.
Per municipality?
2 per organization.
Sorry? 2 per?
2 per organization.
So that means unlimited then. Well, I mean, in other words, the muni could apply, and 4 other societies can apply.
Yeah, no, that's true. But what I'm saying is when the funds are, you know, when they look at the applications, they're going to say, okay, we're going to give this much to this community, Bowen. I suspect that would be my interpretation of how they're going to, one of the criteria they'd approach to, okay, we're going to give $500,000 here. We're going to give $250,000 to whatever other community, that kind of thing.
Okay, well, let's, you know, it sounds to me like we've thrown out a number of ideas of different possible organizations or possible projects. And I wonder if we even want to do that. You know, we could continue and try to just brainstorm a list and then do at least an email out follow-up, you know, just a paragraph talking about the program, and that the CDC would like to hear about anyone who's interested in making an application. Do we want to just, like, because we're sitting here, because we're together, come up with some other, even if they're not, we're not sure if they're registered or would be not-profits or able to apply, just who we think might be interested, and then maybe we could get 1 or 2 people to help Steph craft an email, and Steph could email those organizations. Does that sound like a plan?
Well, maybe the simplest thing to do is just email the link and the news release to, I would say, BIPA and the museum and the Rotary Club, and see if they would, because those Trail Society, I think with everything that's going on, is probably not a good one to include. And maybe the Muni, because there's, you know, to try and do the path right in the cove, so that it's a project or small group of projects that are in the cove or in the museum. I mean, the water bottle filling station at Davy's Orchard is also a good location for a water bottle filling station, and or public washrooms.
Yeah. What about the community center initiative? Are they aware of, are they discussing this? Because even though that they already have infrastructure funding happening, you know, maybe there could be aspects or additions. You know, maybe they can add a skate park to the community center or something else into that project with this funding.
Well, I was just looking at, I guess, at the destination and the heritage ones. And I like Jody's idea. So, but we'll, we've already got a grant for the community center. So I think we're pushing our luck to ask for another one. But to put those three together, because I'm thinking they've all those organizations, I think, have plans, and Jody wants a washroom and a water bottle filling station. If we could get that paid for as part of this.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Jamie. Oh, I did talk to someone from Heritage Canada about this grant because we're looking at perhaps purchasing audio visual equipment so that we can do some proper live streaming, video, sound recording, et cetera, for the Hearth. And I did mention to them that could we use that equipment for the new community center that's being built by the municipality? And they said, well, you can go ahead and apply, but we highly doubt that they'll support that project because it's a municipal building. So we still will probably apply for some of that, the audiovisual equipment for the Hearth. And it won't be stationary, so we may be able to use it at the new community center. I'm thinking things like a recording studio for you know, theater or music, et cetera, et cetera. So just so you know, I have reached out and I have chatted with them about some ideas.
Great.
I mean, if
Rod, what about your idea of having some funds to get our business association or something going here like that? You know, that
I think it has, project like a concrete thing, a construction thing. It talks about an investment or everything I'm looking at, it seems to be things you can build.
It has to have a beginning and an end.
Yeah.
So one of the examples that is brought up somewhere is an outdoor market area.
Yeah.
And I mean, that would fit to some extent with the rural economic recovery angle. The program guide for the grant is actually quite good. It gives you a lot of information about what they will not support. And it's clear from the program guide that the heritage angle, they're very interested in applications from Indigenous communities. And reading between the lines, it might be difficult for anyone on the island to make a satisfactory application. I forwarded this information to Mike Redpath, the director of Metro Parks, because they're the owners of Davies Orchard, and they also have other heritage projects underway. So he has this, and what would be good if they were interested in some aspect of it is that they have done a lot of the design work for that project. Whether they would want to proceed with it or not is through this is not clear to me. Tina Nielsen at the library forwarded information to Melissa Harrison and to Sue Ellen about this, sort of within a heritage framework as well. So Melissa represents VIPA on the Heritage Commission. So the word is getting out by various means to some of the organizations that we've mentioned.
Great. Okay, well, that's good. That's good to know. So I go back to my initial idea then. Is there a role for us as a committee to reach out to these people, to these organizations, and just quantify whether they are applying or what their interest level is, and if there are impediments that they perceive, and just so if it's possible, we can, I guess we can't offer or have our province contact help us really in those ways because of the election. But yeah.
I'm a bit uncomfortable about being selective and deciding to contact this, that, and the other organization, because we may, well, we're not, you know, we don't have that overview of what everybody else is planning. There may have been some really good generative work that's been done by one of the nonprofits where they're just sitting there looking for some sort of funding source. So I would prefer getting the word out to the community. And I like your idea, Rod, of offering to help if it's within our capacity, but maybe just informing people is a first step, and you know, leaving it at that until we see, you know, who expresses interest.
Good. So getting word out to the community. So go ahead, Natasha.
Hi, sorry everyone for being late, first of all, but I had a little bit of an idea, and you guys can tell me if it's a little far-fetched, but I remember earlier in the conversation we were talking about audio equipment. What about, and this might be a little bit out there, but maybe not, a radio station for Bowen Island? It doesn't have to be something full-time.
This
but
application is looking for, like, I think you need to think big for this application because it's $1 million.
Okay. But with the radio station, I'm also thinking it could be nice for like the NERPs as well too, as like an emergency station, like, you know, like for community. And I also know like there's that woman Denise who has a little radio show as well too. And it could be like a neat project for, you know, some of the teenagers or something to host a little radio show. Just a little idea there.
Okay, well that's good. Let's keep the ideas flowing. We're not trying to flush them out right now. We're just getting them out. And if someone was interested in doing that, then that could be, you know, again, what we might find coming back from the community. Now, Marcus and Maureen, you both maybe had a comment there, did you?
Yeah. The program guide says that the majority of programs that are supported, projects that are supported, will be smaller, and the examples that are given range from, you know, tens of thousands to maybe a $250,000 tops. So while there is $1 million cap, they're trying to spread the money around to communities that, I mean, I think that we got to remember is that this is COVID related, it's economic recovery. Anybody who's making an application to this program is going to have to in some way be making the argument that we have been impacted strongly by COVID, and that whatever we put forward is going to result in some remediation of those impacts. And to be honest, I still don't have a clear sense of what the impact of COVID on our community has been at an economic level. And I wonder, maybe, is there anybody who's got a better grasp of that?
I think it's had an impact from a tourism, any of the businesses that are tourism related.
Yeah, can I comment on that? I'm just starting to reach out and interact with people about that. I was talking to somebody yesterday, a retailer in Artisan Square. She said her summer is down 80%. I know our visitor stats were down 52% in July, 30-something% in August. So, and this is apparently our busy season. So I'm very concerned about what the next, 6 months is going to hold for businesses. There's definitely been an impact for sure. How to quantify that? Like I said, I'm going to reach out to some people and just try to get a better assessment. So I don't, as far as the grant goes, I don't think, we've been impacted just like most communities have been impacted. I don't think that would be difficult to make that argument and then show how this grant application, how that would improve, for instance, enhance our destination, improve visitor experience, but also build the community, economic resilience in the community.
Yeah. Okay. So the details of how to go about that need some consideration for any applications that go in, for sure. I mean, I hesitate to suggest a survey. Maybe we need to think more about that if there are applications and they need that kind of information. But maybe that's something we could offer as a committee, and maybe that was the point, Maureen, that we don't necessarily have to do it. Let's find out if there's a need for us to do it, and then challenge ourselves to see how that could be done.
Rod, the timeline on this stuff's kind of tight. So
yeah.
It's more about getting the information out to people as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So when I read it, you have the heritage component, which I think touches what Maureen's saying, is that's going to be your smaller grants, but the economic resilience piece, that's going to be the big grants. So this is really an opportunity if the municipality has projects it wants to knock off, do those $250,000 or $500,000 applications, like, industrial land availability, because government's going to say, how many jobs are you creating? And from a bureaucrat's perspective, it's the same amount of work to approve a $1 million application as it is to approve a $10,000 application. And their performance metric is how fast do I get the money out the door to the communities? So I guarantee they're going to approve the bigger applications before they approve the smaller applications.
That's some good sentiment. Thanks, Marcus.
I wish that we had more time, because I think this would be a great opportunity for, we keep talking about a more sustainable resource for the community in terms of supporting the businesses, right? Mm-hmm. The co-working space, the sort of accelerator or just resource sort of center for it. Like you need real infrastructure for that. You need physical space, you need salaries, you need, that kind of thing. Because boy, I don't know, what do you think? Does it sound like it might support something like that? If we had the ability to get that together in that quickly, I don't know.
Vaughn, have you looked at the grant application and the
not in
streams?
detail? Sorry.
Oh,
no.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, as Maureen said, it lays out pretty clearly examples and what would be covered. So things like, paying for the cost to staff a place wouldn't fit in this as readily as some other things.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, it's should be considered from the lens of if it promotes the well-being of businesses and entrepreneurs, it helps create startups, those sorts of things. There seems to be merit there. So, if there was a co-working space and it needed to be outfitted or something like that, but again, it would have to come under a not-for-profit or a municipal initiative, wouldn't it?
So what about a multi-purpose space for office? It also would house maybe a sound recording studio. It would be like a maker space, so that groups that are working on projects or carpenters that need space to build a pottery studio, it becomes a really multi-purpose space that the whole community can use. I don't know, just off the top of my head idea.
Yeah. Steph?
Just about people are working from home now because of COVID. I mean, I love that communal workspace idea last year, but right now I feel like bringing people all into a room together is not the direction of a COVID response.
Yeah, that may not be as relevant now, but definitely a resource hub of some kind, right? And now we don't even have artisan office services, like even just that kind of thing. You know what I mean? We don't have.
That's starting a new business. So I've been reading through the grant eligibility as we've been talking. I mean, they want shovel ready. They want something that's going to enhance and get going immediately. We've all agreed for years that we need washroom facilities in the cove. So why don't we pick a couple of places and go for that? And you could have your water bottle filling station attached to that.
How would we understand the lead for a project like that would
Well, it's a destination development. Washrooms are listed right underneath the destination development. So it's just a matter of finding a couple of places to put them and running some numbers on how much it's going to cost.
So do we need to make a recommendation to council that they dedicate staff and engage community groups in that? You know, is that the direction we could go in?
Well, it all depends on where you're going to put it. I mean, if Metro's interested in putting it in Davies Orchard or down by the seaside cottages, then we'd have to work with them. If it's,
I think that you'd still go through council and staff, because it would be staff who would be working with Metro, and staff has already expressed interest in this project. That missed the happening very quickly, so would probably be open to this for council to direct them.
Maureen, you're looking puzzled.
Just the other thing that we haven't talked about is the collaborative projects opportunity, where someone proposes to do something on municipal land. So, for example, a skateboard on a skate park on some part of community lands would potentially fit. And that might be something to bring to, we've been talking about approaching nonprofit organizations and making them aware of it, but it's also making the larger community who might be interested in a collaborative project aware of it as well.
Right.
Yeah, kind of sorry, just jumping in again, you know, just coming back to the radio station idea, I think it might be a great way to showcase local artists, you know, like have local musicians have some of their music on there. There could be, you know, like once every hour, there's like, you know, a Muni Minute where we talk about everything that's going on with the municipality. And, you know, I'm not thinking like, you know, Jack FM type radio station, more of like a college hosted one. And this community space, if there is that, the AV equipment for somebody to host the radio show, it could be all of these different groups, all of these different not-for-profits talking about what's going on, and maybe an update on, you know, like places that are opened or closed. You know, all of the classes that we have, art walks, all of the festivals we have, it could just be a great place to advertise that.
Right. Okay. So Natasha, with regards to a project like that, if you have someone or a group that's in mind that, you know, that either is interested or is thinking about taking it on, then what we want to do is get this information to them, because it's definitely not something I think that the committee or you know would like taken. I think that's a good idea, but the committee, I can't see the committee leading it. It'll have to go through somewhere. So that's the step that we want to focus on right now.
Yeah, well, I guess whoever is designing the layout of the community center and what spaces are going to be in there.
Well, Natasha, this is a shovel-ready project that has to be completed by, I think it's the end of 2022. So, and the application has to go in within a month and a bit. So it's got, when they say the word shovel-ready, it's meaning something you've already been thinking about, planning, and gotten ready. So I'm not wanting to be a wet blanket, but I think your radio station idea is not a bad idea, but I don't think there's any way it could get pulled off within a month.
Yeah, unless there was someone already who was down that road. And so we'd want to identify that person. So let's just in the interest of time in our meeting space, let's not try to envision what it would look like, but rather just identify the projects and then see if we can shout out to the community and see if there is someone to take that lead or a group. Maureen, did you have another comment there?
Yeah, just if we want to make a recommendation to council, keeping in mind that council won't formally see this recommendation for at least 2 weeks. But the recommendation could be that the CEDC recommend to council that staff be directed to investigate project opportunities under the CERIP full name and apply as appropriate.
All right, well, Marcus just sent me a message saying that Steve the landscaper was talking about a radio station a couple of months ago. I don't know this person, but I'm not too sure how fully formed his idea is, but it looks like there is somebody who is interested in doing this.
Great. Well, that's
I'll track
super.
you more about that and reaching out to the Steve guy, see how far along he is with his idea.
Well, he's got to have a not-for-profit set up, and you're not going to get that done in 30 days.
Well, let's not rule out anything. Let's just leave that on our list. And I'd like to address Maureen's first draft of a recommendation to council. So Jody, were you going to add to that, or what were you? No,
I think what Maureen is doing is great. I'm particularly interested. I think I would love to collaborate with other organizations that may have projects that could fit together under an umbrella project title like destination development, building economic resiliency. And then that could go with staff with what they are doing, and just to try to get this money, or to get a couple of things like washrooms, maybe trail signage, maybe other things that could fit within the realm. So I'm game to collaborate. I'd love to get the message out, see who's got things that might fit together in a nice project.
Right. Yeah. It seems to me, in reflecting on Marcus's earlier comments from his experience, which I think is really great, is that it will be tough. It's tough for us to conceive of projects. It'll be tough for other areas, communities, to conceive of projects. So they will want to get funding out the door, I'm assuming. So yeah, it's probably very worthwhile collaborating and figuring out real projects with significant budgets, or if necessary, attached to them. Okay, so Maureen, do you want to reread your recommendation?
It's in the chat.
Can I read what I've captured?
Okay.
The committee recommend that council direct staff to investigate project opportunities available under the CERIP and apply as appropriate.
And I added another bit, and that information on the CERIP be provided to the community.
Okay.
What about staff working with community organizations if need be to, maybe I'm not understanding this, but.
You want to maybe include the collaborative projects agreement in there, Jody?
Yeah, well, I'm just, I mean, I can see how the municipality might have a project, say for trail signage or something that this would fit with, but what I'm saying is, do we want to look at how we can sort of get as many pieces as possible within this grant application for the community? So whether that's collaboration, or I mean, I don't know the proper approach or terminology here, but I just want to make sure that's not eliminated or whatever. Or
so do you want to maybe have sort of the beginning of the recommendation, and then sort of 3 bullets? One is apply as appropriate, one is provide information to the community, and one is collaborate with community not-for-profit groups where appropriate?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Okay, that's good. So moved.
Hold on.
I'm just looking at the time here.
Okay. And collaborate with community not-for-profits where appropriate.
Including collaboration with community nonprofits.
Including?
Yeah.
Okay.
You need to put that in right after infrastructure program, I think.
You might also just add and community members.
Yeah.
Because the collaborative projects policy does not call for them to be a registered nonprofit.
Yeah.
But they have to be an entity, I think, in order to apply for the grant. Oh, but it's if we apply for the grant,
their entity.
Never mind.
Yeah. We've got a bunch of keeners who want a skate park and know how to pour concrete.
One of them
is a nonprofit.
Okay.
The foot of Cardina is already a skate park.
But the committee.
I'm serious.
I know. We'll have to start putting those little round things like they've got in a couple of spots in Victoria on the pavement, and that prevents them from.
That's so mean.
Yeah, exactly. Liability.
Where did our chair go?
Oh, we lost him.
He had enough.
He had enough.
Okay, vice chair, go for it.
Where's the vice chair? On?
Yes, I am the vice chair.
You're the vice chair.
Call for the vote,
You're the vice coach.
All in favor.
Remember, I'm already the vice chair.
Okay, you're gonna call the vote then.
Okay, I'm calling the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Natasha and Jamie, we can't see, and Jody, all of you. You're in this meeting.
I say aye. Aye from Jamie.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, you're up, Vaughn. You want to move on to council updates?
Council updates. Okay.
All on the councillors.
Do we have any councillors who wish to give us an update?
I was to speak to the RFP for continuing on with the Community Economic Development Plan. The RFP was approved by council, and my understanding is that Steph and I are supposed to work to get it out this week to the community. So it's
news to me. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. I talked with Liam on the
okay,
and he said you and I.
Okay, I will talk to you later this afternoon.
Yeah.
One thing I thought about regarding that, Maureen, is that, and I don't have it in front of me, but did we have anything in there around how the successful consultant or consultants liaise, like what is the relationship with the municipality and staff? In other words, you know, so if they're doing something that requires, you know, can they ask staff, for instance, you know, can we send this thing out to the, you know, all the businesses and get this information? Or like, I don't know if we put anything like that in there.
We didn't. And we didn't because we wanted to see the extent to which the applicants would understand that that would be an important part of the project. So we outlined the criteria in detail, but not the details of how they would complete the plan.
Okay. Are we clear though on how much resources are available to the?
You're talking about them using staff resources, but that's why we're hiring somebody. We don't have.
Yeah, I'm not thinking of it as using. I'm just thinking, you know, that like in the course of that kind of work, right? I could just imagine that they would need to, for instance, access, you know, a database of the businesses or something, you know?
Yeah, well, I think that would just get sorted out and
okay.
As a matter of
I was just thinking administratively, you know what I mean? Like, do we need to have something in place in the RFP before it goes out is what I'm saying, so that people understand, yeah, or maybe that's not important. I don't know, it just occurred to me. I just thought, I don't know if we've really figured that out, you know? How does that work when they're consultants? They're not a staff member is what I'm saying, right?
Municipality works with consultants all the time on projects, and they figure out what the liaison points are.
Okay. So, consultants tend to be quite proactive. Consultants bug staff all the time in a good way.
Okay.
they're getting paid, they get their information.
Okay, I was just, you know, how you just muse things, and I just thought, oh, do we need to have something in there? I don't think we addressed anything, and is it important at all, just protocol wise? Because, you know, sometimes I'm not perfect on the protocol, just like, you know, sending that letter to that Francine wanted. Like I thought, with our current relationship with the rural partnership, right? I was just like, oh my God, yeah, I think the committee can just send that off. So, you know, just checking.
Yeah, okay.
And then I guess on other council matters, probably the only thing that we want to mention is the referendum passed.
Yeah.
Because that's happened since we last met, and the tender documents are being prepared at the moment. There was quite a good article, an interview with the CEO in the Undercurrent that sort of lays out the sequence of events. And that's all I have to say. Michael, Allison, did you want to add anything?
I don't think so. You're muted, Michael.
I am indeed. No, I don't think so at this stage. I mean, obviously, we've reached this major watershed with the community centre. We've got to move ahead on that. We've got some other things in front of us right now for capital nature. So I think tonight's meeting will move it further along. But at this stage, and as far as this grouping is concerned, no, I don't think I need to add anything else at this point.
If I think of something while we're talking, I'll throw it out.
Okay, sorry folks for my absence there. I think Steph's computer glitch is worn off onto my computer.
I just implicated.
Did we pass a recommendation to council? Okay, yeah. Great.
Yes, we just approved where they were going to apply for a swimming pool.
Okay, you guys are very efficient. Congratulations.
I think staff is next.
Well, you know, we lose you there for a minute. You just never know what's going to happen.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
So I'm next.
Okay.
I don't have a written report yet on the business continuity planning workshops. They were great, not as well attended as I would have liked, but attended by good people. And that there's still one-on-one or by good, I mean essential for survival. So good news on that. And the one-on-one follow-ups are ongoing. And I just like to thank the committee again for your support on that. And there'll be a written report next month. Buy Local campaign is not started, but I'm going to be meeting with Sophie and Janet next week. And I'm going to try to incorporate more of the Rural Islands Gift Certificate program in that program. But please send any ideas you have. We're bored of what we've been doing. Yes, Jody.
I have some branded, like the Bowen mascot brand ideas for helping to get the message out.
Thank you. Do you want us to email those?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think we have a spot on the committee. No, that's all for me. Thank you. Next.
Great. Thanks, Steph. So Jody, do you want to talk a little bit? You already have kind of given us a bit of an update, but on tourism?
Yeah. So definitely a different year. The visitor center opened when we went into phase 3, so late June, and we will be closing end of September, due to funding. Our numbers July were down, I think maybe it was 56%. In August, and I haven't got 32% or something, and I haven't got September numbers yet, but it was, I know there was a lot of, I'm super sensitive to social media comments and things like that, so there was a lot of people very nervous about visitors coming to Bowen and things like that, so at the visitor center, we have always worn masks right from day one. We've done signage. We actually remind people, ask them to follow the COVID health and safety protocols when we're talking to them. So, I think we've done a good job of trying to inform visitors. We certainly saw the transition from the start of the season where people didn't really have masks to now it's part of our attire. I know I personally, when I go someplace, if I don't have my mask when going to the store, I feel, oh, something's wrong here. So it's human nature to go through that process, and I think everybody's on board. As I was stating earlier, I'm going to start to do more reach out with our members in regards to seeing how their season was and concerned about the coming months. And we will promotionally, we'll start reminding people to, come to Bowen and, help like the island come back. As I think I've said to you, Rod, before, the tourism, Bowen becomes the scapegoat, gets blamed for so many things. So things like promoting the island comeback, there's always, having to be very cautious about how to do that, managing destination and visitations so that the community is also reassured and happy. So that's always something, a balancing act that I feel. I know quite a number of vacation rentals didn't open this season. Some have stopped permanently, some are temporary, and that impacts visitors, so it's more local people just doing day trips, and that I think the economic, they don't spend as much money when they come if they're just day trippers as opposed to somebody staying overnight. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, and tourism, Bowen Island will do our part to try to promote visitations as a way of promoting economic development, and do that in a sensitive, responsible way. That's what I've got at the moment, I think.
Super. Thanks, Jody. I guess naturally, as tourism, even though it's been less, it will drop off further in September and October. And so I would expect there wouldn't be as concern from local Bowen Islanders. But did you notice as the summer progressed that you had less instances of people expressing concern, or do you think it continued?
I think, COVID has just added that whole, on a good day, like there's quite a few residents that are not favorable to visitors on a good day. And COVID is just, accentuated people's, for very good reasons. So some people feeling anxious and we're all adjusting to this. I had somebody just come in the other day expressing concern about their particular locale. And, they were wanting, are you sending visitors up there? And we just kind of always get it about beaches, people feeling that their beach is a private beach. And I just, I'm very, very, I live here too. I love Bowen, and I'm very cognizant of trying to manage visitations and do it in a responsible way. And it makes it hard. For instance, I don't know, and I'm going to say this publicly because I don't understand, but the public washrooms that the municipality has been, that is responsible for at the beaches, Sandy, Roger Curtis Lane, Bowen Bay, Tunstall, they have not had hand sanitizer during this whole COVID period. And I personally have taken, because, in July, I had a personal experience at Sandy Beach, and nothing was changed. So I've personally taken some Tourism Bowen Island dispenser, and I fill up the hand sanitizer there, which is actually not very much. So I've MacGyvered this thing. So we get complaints. People were going to Sandy Beach and we're trying to direct them there so that they don't go on the buses. Like I say, trying to responsible destination management. And then we get complaints from visitors because it's dirty and all those kinds of things. So yeah, we're kind of in the middle of trying to provide adequate destination management and being sensitive to residents and concerns. And I always welcome them. And I just try to reassure what we're doing within our capacity.
Right. Is maybe that's something, Steph, that if Jody doesn't have a contact at the municipality, that you can directly inform people, or is there a way? I mean, like most washrooms, public washrooms, and certainly private washrooms at businesses will say, hey, let us know if this washroom needs servicing, you know, text us, contact us, you know, phone us, what have you. I definitely would expect that that our municipal service washrooms would have that kind of information in them. And if it doesn't sound like it, then
follow up. I think there's been some staff changes where responsibilities may have slipped through the cracks.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, if you guys could follow up with that, that would be great.
You can always call Public Works. Anyone can call Public Works if there's an issue.
Yeah.
Maureen, I've been in contact with Public Works. I have, and that's what, at first I reached out and I thought something would happen and nothing happened until finally you know, this is not good. So I personally at Sandy Beach, and I didn't that's the beach that I go to because I live here and work closest and was directing people to, but then I sadly saw that none of the municipality washrooms have had hand sanitizer. I've told it's been on back order, and I suggested here, look at Metro Parks has got hand sanitizer, thank God. And here's an example. I don't understand during a pandemic that is appropriate. Okay.
Well, thank you for voicing that, Jody. That's appreciated.
And I don't want to. I hesitate. Like I said, I don't want to blame or anything like that. But I do think that is a lack there for sure.
Okay. One thought that I had, and this is going back to your that you're going to be making an effort to contact some of the accommodations and tourism businesses on the island. Are you going to do an informal or formal sort of survey? Are you anticipating you'll get any kind of data or information about that in terms of who's closed or how many are closed and how long until they expect to open and that sort of thing?
I usually find it's more productive to, like I said, I'm going to do some one-on-one conversations. Maybe we might do a formal, send us your response. What do you need? We may do. That's an option. I haven't thought that through yet at the moment, but.
Okay. I think from our committee perspective, and any data that we have on impacts of COVID would be good, and that's an area where except for yourself, and you do a great job, of course, of synthesizing it, but we don't have representation on this committee for guest accommodations on the island, and I think it's important that we have that in our mix and our information. So if and if there's a need to design a bit of a survey or if you want to reach out to talk about what you think would be appropriate information to collect, I just invite you to do that, and you can reach out to me if you want, or anyone else who's interested in helping.
Hi, sorry, this is Jamie. I gotta go now. So,
give us your update, everyone.
Your update's coming up.
Do you have just a minute for an update, Jamie? Sorry, we've been talking.
Sorry. I'm not watching the agenda because I'm driving.
Okay, well,
cool.
If you have a minute, just whenever you can.
Okay. That's why you were laughing at me. Okay, cool. An update. Yeah, so we're the gallery is open. We're still business as usual, of course, following protocol, safety protocol with COVID. We've been having some outdoor dance parties with a DJ for our art openings, and they have become quite popular. I think people are really just enjoying getting outside and socializing, distancing, but socializing, and then dancing to a DJ. So they've been really successful, and we'll continue through the winter. Hopefully we're gonna look for some tents and some space heaters and carry on the party outside.
Great.
Yeah, it's really fun. I think that people are really enjoying it. As for the community center, yay, the referendum has passed. It's been positive, and we're on our way to the tender process, and we're all really excited at the Hearth. So that's really great news. And I personally am super excited because, you know, yeah, this is going to be a great place for the community to go to. Yeah, oh, you know, there is one question that I'd like to ask. The Christmas craft fair that Bowen has, I'm just wondering if that is going to carry on this year.
There was something in the undercurrent on Friday that it's canceled.
Okay, cool. That's good to know, because we are planning to do a month-long Christmas craft show at the Hearth. So, so people can do their Christmas shopping locally and support local artists at the same time. So I'll be reaching out to the crafts people to see if they're interested in setting up their stalls at the Hearth for a month.
Jamie?
Yes.
Will you have a children's section?
Will we have a children's section?
Mm-hmm.
Give me a little bit more information on
There's
what that looks like.
The children's section of the craft fair at the school. They have one for kids. Kids craft.
And what does?
So
okay.
kids craft work.
Okay. Remember, I'm not.
Sounds like
here,
not.
so
I'll take that as a no.
Well, I'm not from here, remember? So these, you know, I don't know what was history and what was new. So I just need to hear from people what they would like to see. That would be fantastic. So tell me more when you have a chance.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that's probably a good overview of what's going on at the Hearth.
Great. And you had mentioned in our discussion about the funding program, the Recovery Infrastructure Program,
yes.
that you had reached out to, sorry, I made a note of it, but I'm just wondering if, to Heritage Canada.
Yeah.
Talking about your video equipment.
Yes. And because there was two funding streams, and one was for, you know, big infrastructure projects, but another is for equipment, or I can't remember exactly. So that was the one that I was inquiring about, hoping that we could purchase some equipment, because you know, going forward in this time, you know, recording, video, theater, all that sort of thing are all happening virtually now, but we just don't have the equipment to do that with, or even the knowledge on how to do that. So I'm just researching that now. I went to saw a recording studio a couple of weeks ago at the Whistler Arts Council. So I'm getting a better idea of what we would need to be able to properly record sessions. So
great.
Yeah.
Are you in contact with some of the people on island who have private recording studios?
No, I haven't done that yet. I haven't reached out to them yet. No, but I will. It's on my calendar to do. Yeah,
you know, and that's another area. I'm always thinking about businesses that we don't really hear from, or you know, economic activity that is on the island, and that's another area for sure. Because there are a number.
It's a big area. Yeah, and it's, you know, they probably need that sort of space. They also could teach virtually in a space like that, because you know, there's also the need for kids that are learning how to play instruments and saying that they need a place to perform in front of an audience. It's all part of their development. So yeah, there's lots of ideas. It's just a matter of getting to it and getting the equipment that we need.
I'm thinking about collaborative projects that Maureen mentioned earlier, and we were talking about as well. Because if there was a need for you to have more expertise in that area, and you were looking for on-island resources, then you know, I think there's, if you don't know of them, we could probably you could contact me or Steph, and we could probably point you in the direction of a couple people on island who would be good resource people, who potentially could volunteer and help out.
That would be awesome, Rod.
Area.
Thank you. Yeah. You know, where I come from in Invermere, I had all those people in my back pocket, but I don't have them here yet. I have to develop those relationships. Yes.
Jamie, have you been to Tiernanog yet?
No, I haven't.
They do a theater school, so the kids learn how to speak in front of an audience and all that sort of stuff, and do plays. So.
Oh, great. Okay. And
it's already here on the island. And there's a couple of private recording studios as well.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. I will research that, and Rod, I'll reach out to you too and get some more information.
Yeah, I have information, Jamie, for sure.
Great.
Okay. Terrific. Thanks. Anyone that has any ideas, just shoot them to me, and make sure that you send contact name and phone number of who I can talk to.
Super. Okay. Well, I know you're driving, and so if you have anything else, please jump in, and also I know you need to go. So thanks for joining us.
Yes. Okay. Thanks for everything. Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Take care. Okay. Should we jump into the business engagement working group? Maybe I'll make a few comments about that. So we did have a small meeting last week, I guess it was, on Tuesday morning. We were a little bit up in the air whether we were going to go for it or not. I'm glad that we did, because, you know, we had 3 or 4 businesses on. And leading up to that meeting, as Stefan mentioned earlier, we had the Wendy Coe and her contact from Small Business BC do a pre-meeting and planning for our next meeting, which again, Steph mentioned. I'll just gonna click to my notes there and give you their names. So that the Small Business BC representative, James Blackwell, he actually is most involved in developing a digital marketplace. So we were interested to hear from him a little bit, and we will be interested to hear. That'll be launching at the end of September. And that's why we wanted to have him not at our last meeting, but the next meeting. Be good to widely publicize that. It sounds like there's some overlap with the Island Comeback and the local BC websites and marketing programs. And so we're going to get some clarity on that. But also with regards to, and this is jumping forward to business navigators, but there's been ongoing support at Small Business BC for local small businesses who want advice during COVID, business advice of all kinds, how to apply for funding and so on. They actually had special funding to have people available, business mentors essentially. And that their funding was ending at the end of September. So we'll also ask James if he could update us on that program and whether it's going to be continuing or not, because it's not clear. But Small Business BC always has resources for business, including one-to-one contact and follow-up. So that was interesting. I think we'll continue on a monthly basis with the business engagement, the Zoom meetings. And that's been our main form of business engagement over the last 6 months since COVID. And likely will be the way we'll go forward. Chris Corrigan was really instrumental and helpful in helping launch that and facilitating, especially the larger groups. Now the groups are much smaller. And Chris is busy and not able to join us each time. But I would encourage, everyone from the committee, including the councillors, if you can, to listen in. We didn't record anything last meeting. It was quite informal and more of a check-in. But we'll definitely record James's session coming up at the next meeting. So Steph, do you want to add anything else to that?
No, but I just think it's great to do the monthly check-in. I feel like we've been talking about doing a merchant society for years, and it's nice to have that. It could turn into something else, or it could stay chilled, mellow. And yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I have the island comeback anywhere else on this agenda, so I'll just mention where that's at.
The rural partnership.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the next section, so maybe I'll just launch into that. So, as I think everyone might know now, Island Comeback was an extension of the Rural Island Partnership, economic partnership, spearheaded through 18 different rural islands. And the real tangible next steps, because a get together like we had in November, last November, is not likely to happen. It's not going to happen this year. So the group has been focused on a marketplace platform, online website called islandcomeback.ca. We have I think it's about 18 Bowen businesses registered to be able to have people purchase gift certificates or make donations to their business. But most importantly, and if you visit islandcomeback.ca, you'll see, where the site is now. There's a real online presence that represents rural island communities in BC, and it represents Bowen very well. And although there isn't enough participation in my mind, I think some businesses have been hesitant to join in because there's a little bit of setup that's involved for each business, but also because the promotion hasn't really just started getting going. And that means that there's Instagram, Facebook posts happening twice a week now through Island Comeback. It's now sponsored by Van City and BC Ferries program wide. And they are also amplifying the message in their marketing and communications. So for instance, if you, and this was again, back to a lot of Steph's work through Buy Local and through the BC marketplace program. What's the name of that one? Buy Local BC, is that the one?
BC.
Yeah, Local BC. So now when you click on the Bowen Island link, if you go to communities, you go to the islandcomeback.ca website, and that's where you have a Bowen tailored message and marketing. Hi, Steph.
Do you think that now with the rains and the cold coming, businesses will reconsider registering? They've been busy all summer.
Yeah, I think so.
And they might have some downtime to sit there and figure out the back end of that online.
Yeah, I do think so, and I think it's worth our while as a committee and my time and our time together to keep educating and keep supporting the program. Council's been very supportive, both by authorizing funds and letters of support. We have another letter of support that's been requested, and we should address that quickly too. But just in terms of the big picture there, they're very much planning on moving forward. We had a meeting for registered businesses, and we had a number of businesses attend last Tuesday morning. And we just walked through how to accept gift certificates, how to use the technology. And I think it was very helpful. We certainly had good feedback from a couple of them to me. And they also shared the message with other businesses, like, for instance, the Ruddy, now that it's changed ownership, apparently wasn't on up to speed with the program, and it sounds like they're interested. Makes good sense for them to be part of it. They're a real face of Bowen Island. So yeah, the program is alive and well. That's my message. and it needs, and it will, I think, begin to flourish now that it's being promoted more and that businesses can see more value in it.
How many people?
Hey, oh, sorry, go ahead, Steph.
Yeah.
How many people attended your training?
There was 3. Yeah. And I recorded the session and I sent it to George, who's the website admin, and he was going to edit the video slightly just for some privacy concerns. And then we can make that video available to businesses so they can see the walkthrough themselves on how to use the site.
Perfect.
But I did know, I also happen to know that other businesses since that session who didn't even attend have now started using the site properly. So I think the word is getting around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting around, for the next session, I was thinking maybe it might be a good idea to invite on some sort of social media or branding expert. After you mentioned their Instagram page, I went and I took a look, and I've been doing a lot of work as an entrepreneur trying to build up my Instagram, and I have paid a brand manager to like help me design all of that. But she's not as proficient on like, you know, how do you actually make a good Instagram post? She's more about like how to build my company in the back end once people click. Yeah. But if we could maybe find somebody who can guest star and maybe talk a little bit more about like how to use Instagram and social media to leverage your island comeback campaign, I know I'd be interested in that because I haven't gotten any bites from this island campaign yet. And I see the potential. I really do. Yeah. But I think it would be appealing to people for many reasons. They know that they have to go online and learn how to promote their own business. And if we could tie it to the island comeback, then I think we're helping even more that way.
Okay, well, and that's actually, you reminded me of a good point there too. And that is that the Island Comeback is hosting 3 sessions for registered businesses or businesses who are interested to learn about the social media and how to incorporate that in their own promotions. And that's over the next 2 weeks. So you should have received an email, actually. Do you know if you did from Island Comeback? It would be to the email address you registered with.
I think I did. Yeah, I've been a little distant from my email recently. Yeah. But I'm gonna, that's been a project to sit down and go back and take a look at like what my offering is on Island Comeback, make sure it's tailored to what I want to do before I put it out to the mass media or before I attempt to promote it further.
Yeah, well, you know, if you have the opportunity, because it sounds like you have the interest, if you could attend at least the first or one of the earlier sessions that they host on the marketing, and just report back, I think, to the committee or to me maybe about what you decide or if you find it useful and so on, because I think Steph would like to send out another reminder to businesses at large on Bowen to register. But it would be great to have, you know, some more information about how to do it and what's important to businesses on Bowen.
Yeah, I just found the email. It's called Get Notice, Publicity Tips for Your Island Comeback Listing. And it looks like the first one is going to be Tuesday, October 6th from 4 to 5. Great.
Well, let's, I think Steph and I are aware of those, and now you're aware of them. So all right, I'll sign up. That's our starting point that we're looking for here.
Okay. Yeah, I'll sign up for those.
Great. So we have a letter that's been requested from Rural Island Economic Partnership in support of a funding application. And I believe.
So I didn't on the agenda, and I can get at it through my email, but I don't have access. Does anybody else have it? Can send it, or actually,
I could share my screen. Just
okay, let's do that. And so I've given you permissions.
Okay, just bear with me while I find the. the actual letter. They gave us a draft. Vaughn, and you had a good look at it, right? So
yeah, I mean, I
don't think
it needed any adjustment. It was just, you know, basically said that, you know, we were highly supportive of the partnership and the intention of the funds, and yeah, it seemed pretty straightforward to me that it would come from the committee, you know, that we have this you know, pretty significant relationship with the partnership, right?
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna, sorry, just taking me a second here. I'm gonna share it now.
Sorry, I don't have it. I've got this problem, as you know. So I think, Vaughn, because you expressed a bit of it, I think we have a partnership or we have a collaboration with the partnership, but I think when things are coming from the committee, they should go through the committee was the concern there.
And also, I think
it's a friendly reminder. There's nothing serious, but even though you guys are chair and vice chair, it's nice to have, committee involvement. Makes good process.
Well, and really, should it be coming from the municipality is another question, or is it okay to send it as the committee? And so I put that question maybe out to the councillors for a suggestion. So
Rod, can you scroll down, because I can only see the first 2 paragraphs.
Okay, now I wanted to make it really big. Can I make it smaller, like that? Is that okay?
That's good for
a
me.
teeny bit bigger.
I'll leave it bigger and scroll down. Okay.
Okay, what's it going to? Yeah, this mitigate impacts, identify best practices, share findings, establish management. Okay, keep going. Okay. I think if you're just sending it on behalf of the community, you're not, or the committee, you're not saying Bowen Island municipality supports. So I think you're all right.
And or is it something that the municipality could support, or that would take approval by council, I guess?
Yes.
I mean, they have supported the program this far, but this is for, they're looking for a labor market partnership funding application, which is largely how the original forum was funded too. There was a good portion of the original funding. I think it was in the order of $20,000 to $30,000 that came from a labor market partnership funding.
Rod, could I ask, what did the Rural Islands Economic Partnership Society ask for? Were they asking specifically for a letter of support from the municipality? They've done that in the past.
Yeah, in this instance, let me just see. Sorry, I want to bring up Francine's original request. I have a hard time navigating this inbox.
I'll have a look too, but again, I'm diminished.
Was that it? You just had something from?
Yeah, sorry, this is with regards to the promotion that we were talking about. This is the Island Comebacks Gift Certificate Program.
When are they sending the application in, Rod?
They want to get this in the next 2 days. They originally wanted a recommendation letter by last Friday, but we decided we'd at least discuss it.
They got to submit the application by the end of the month, sounds like.
Yeah. So I think if if it's most straightforward and the committee thinks it's okay, I'll just send the letter from the chair from the committee of support. And
so
we're not committing to financial support at this time. We're just supporting the application.
Usually labor market partnerships, it's an open call. So there's a deadline for them. And it's generally no one else has to contribute funding. Most of the funding on those things are in kind, as long as you're providing in kind from somewhere else. Government will fund it.
So we're not committing ourselves to anything by supporting it, is what?
No, I don't think so. No.
No, those applications demand that you have 3 letters of support minimum from organizations that would be considered stakeholders or beneficiaries of a project.
So because it looks very much like a form letter, Marcus, which I imagine they've asked all the partners for, is there any benefit to us trying to customize it a little bit so it doesn't just look like a form letter from the grant applicant, the receivers?
Usually it's a checkbox exercise that you have letters attached that say, yeah, there's going to be some sort of economic benefit of contributing to this project. It usually starts as, there's 5 phases, and the first one is usually stakeholder engagement. Second one is research. Third one is strategy, and the fourth one is implementation. So I think they're at an earlier stage. So I don't think there's any downside to supporting it.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, and I flashed up the original email, but essentially that's what they're just asking for. The letter will be forwarded to the Ministry of Social Development and Poverty Reduction. And that's that.
Well, I'd like to move that the Community Economic Development Committee supports the letter and then the details.
Great, thanks. I'll second that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and any opposed?
Jody and Natasha.
Anyone opposed to that?
Affirmative.
Aye. Natasha, aye.
Okay.
Aye, Jody. Aye, Jody.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Just a quick point of interest. What is our letterhead then? What does it go on? Like?
Oh yeah, sorry. Did we say we were gonna put on letterhead?
You just put community, Bowen Island Community Economic Development Committee. That's all you're gonna put across the top.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not.
Yeah,
sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, so we don't need a municipal logo or anything. We'll just simply put Bowen Island in text, Community Economic Development Committee.
Yeah. Okay.
Why not? Why not put it on letterhead?
Well, we can't put it on Bowen Island Municipality letterhead.
Why?
Because it's a committee. It's not the municipality.
We send out mail all the time from the municipality that's on letterhead that doesn't come solely from council.
But it hasn't come from official staff.
But we are a committee of the council.
Yeah.
And the council has showed support for the rural partnership.
Okay. Well, if we can throw the logo on, then let's put it on.
I'll deal with it at the staff level.
Okay.
Thanks, Steph.
I'm gonna be really busy today, you guys.
Oh, I know. You gotta miss it.
Digital Roadmap Working Group. We don't have Kirsten with us, and I haven't heard of any specific initiatives going on in that area.
Move on.
Is there any?
We need to move on.
Yeah, I think we'll move on past that.
So the budget is not attached. Work plan and budget were not attached, and I don't have access to them. Okay.
Well, I don't think there's anything pressing there. I mean, I think that we haven't had any significant expenditures since our last meeting that I'm aware of. And so the remaining budget, however much that is still being held for projects that relate to COVID, which I think is appropriate at this point.
Mentioning that it's coming into October, we've got some money to spend. I always have to remind you people that if you don't spend it, you don't get it. So
yeah, well, and I think there might be an opportunity with this funding application, the infrastructure program, potentially to host something or provide assistance. We'll have to see what comes back.
Hey, can I jump in with a little idea there for the funding? Maybe what about hiring our own somebody on island, our own social media expert to promote the Island Comeback campaign for Bowen?
That's a very interesting idea. I could see a small contract for someone, because right now it's basically, you and I and staff and the other businesses trying to keep on top of it and promote it. But really, that is a good point, because the real value of the program is for the Bowen businesses to capitalize on what's been created. And so if they're not, then there's an opportunity missed.
Yeah, and if we have some budget left over, we could use that A, to hire a local person, and then B, get more recognition and hopefully more business for everybody who is doing it. And then they could promote the fact that we're doing this as well too, to get more businesses involved.
Yeah. Well, let's maybe you need to talk with Steph a little bit about that, because has some staff time allocated for working with that.
It's noted.
Yeah, good. Okay, so the in other business, I was mentioning that there was a request for a letter of support for an investment readiness program application, and that was from the Bowen Island Food Sovereignty group, and they, I believe, have sent information to staff or to the municipality. And they've also requested that, or I had a discussion with David Adams about what support that in terms of either a letter from me personally or from the Community Economic Development Committee, if that's appropriate. One of my main questions is it appropriate for both the Community Economic Development Committee and the municipality to support it if they are going to? Or should we be looking at just adding our committee support to whatever the municipality is potentially looking at?
Rod, so I know a little bit about it.
Yeah.
That it's already gone to council for consideration of support.
It's on the agenda for tonight.
Oh, tonight then. Okay.
Yeah.
But I just know that they're gathering as much, they want to show as much of the community as possible or behind it, of course. So I think it wouldn't hurt for the committee also to write, to do that, to support it.
Sorry, what is it? The sovereignty group?
Yeah, it's the food sovereign.
Did they become Food Resilience Society?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they are working in tandem with a couple of people to put forward an application to support food resiliency on the island, which would include some form of social enterprise or cooperative form, possibly, of a greenhouse project, so that there would be, food year-round kind of thing. And I don't know that much more about it than that, but it's, it's basically like something that a lot of people have been talking about for a long time, and they don't, basically it's to do the work to figure out what that would be and then do it. Yeah. So it sounds really great.
Yeah. My understanding of the investment readiness program is that they would be applying for funds to essentially hire consultants or to pay people to do the actual legwork of both connecting with the community, but also figuring out who the stakeholders would be, what their interests are, and looking at the general viability of the project.
Yeah, I think almost like building a business plan for it, right? Like here's a budget, here's basically what the infrastructure is, here's how you manage labor cost, like the whole thing, right?
Yeah. And it sounds like they've already connected with experts in social enterprise and are seeking further contacts and connections with people who have expertise in the industry, greenhouse growing and high-tech type agriculture. Potentially they would partner with research and education. And so there's it's very broad scope at this point. And so essentially, I think what they're looking for is for us to say that it is part of what our community is interested in, you know, and that includes reducing greenhouse gases through more local growing and increasing resiliency in the community through business opportunities. I think most importantly in you know, with our economic development committee hat on, is to say that it would increase employment locally and have beneficial effects to our local economy. And it would support a circular economy, I think. So anyway, I think there are a lot of reasons why it meets the criteria of our community economic development focus. So maybe we should make a recommendation to council that they do support it, and then consider what council is going to write, and then decide whether we're going to write a letter as well. So
I think they need a timeline. You're not going to have time to think about it after council's decided, because I have a feeling they have to submit by the end of the month.
Do you want to see the letter? Anybody who doesn't have it?
The letter from them, for the council letter.
Yeah. Do you have the letter there? You could.
Yeah.
You could,
the timeline is tighter than that. The submission is prior to the next council meeting, so it's before the 13th of October. Basically, this needs to be done in the next week.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Yeah. So they're going to seek to establish a cooperative entity or a social enterprise.
Well, if the municipality is sending the letter of support, the committee probably doesn't need to.
Yeah, unless
he doesn't need to, but they really want to blow this. You know, I think they're getting a lot of letters of support, and so I think the idea is that just to show the funders that this community is behind it in a huge way and kind of blow their minds. So they're hoping, you know, as much as they can get, the better, right?
My thought would be is that if we were going to write something, we'd want to reflect on the principles of community economic development and how they relate to this initiative, which would be fairly easy to do, and maybe council could do that just as well. I don't know if council's like that letter that you just showed us. That's not what council, like they're requesting.
That's a request from
That's
them.
a request, yeah, not the letter.
I
think the letter mentioned that they have David LePage involved, and he's pretty powerful personality in the social enterprise scene. So the fact that he's involved would be one instance right there just to support it. Yeah,
but that's my understanding. Although I don't know David, I certainly have heard of him.
Impressive guy.
Yeah. And you know, so I would, you know, I mean, I spent just a few minutes over the weekend thinking about it, and by applying, you know, some principles of community economic development to the project, you know, we could probably just simply create a or I could, if the committee would like to support it, you know, and that would be, is it livelihood focused? You know, does it impact people's livelihoods being made in the community? And I think the answer to that is pretty much yes. Does it seek to be diverse and inclusive? And, you know, that's a question for them, you know, whether they do or not. But as you said, with David LePage and the social enterprise focus of the initiative, I think that's part of the principle of social enterprise. And is it sustainable, you know, environmentally or economically vital, you know, and so on. Is it place-based? Well, clearly it is. You know, it's local, and it's about supplying food to local people, grown by local people. And is it community controlled? And it will be if it's cooperative and a social enterprise. So, you know, it ticks all the boxes for community economic development. is I think the message that we could send to council.
I think you might want to build in an in principle in there as well. And this is my only reservation about this project. We don't have a grant application in front of us. We don't have a figure associated with what they're applying for. Are they asking for $5,000 under this program? Or are they asking for $100,000? We have no information that gives us any sense of the scope. And that's a deficiency in terms of the approach. It wouldn't stop me from writing a letter in support, but it would mean that it would be something that I would want a lot more information about further down the road.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. I did get some more information from David Adams. The one that in particular that I saw was there was a budget for 3 individuals for approximately $10,000 to $15,000, and
that's not the application.
No, not the application.
It was an application that was made to the Community Foundation under the Resiliency Fund. So it's a little confusing.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's an application that was made that gives you some sense of what they will be applying to investment readiness for, but that is not the formal document.
Okay. All right. Well, then I think that's important, and I guess council will get that comment tonight anyway. Yeah. So is there a need, or is there even a mechanism for us to suggest to council, or are we just simply, you take our discussions with Michael and Allison and yourself here and reflect that in council as you see fit?
Yeah,
I think that's fine.
Yeah, and David has spoken with multiple councillors already, so we're kind of in the loop to varying degrees.
Okay.
And we can say that CEDC supports in principle.
Yeah.
Do you want to just do that then?
Yeah, let's just have a quick show of hands. So I move that that we what are we? We're not making a recommendation to council. What are we?
No, just an internal recommendation.
Okay. Oh, okay. So in general, in principle, as Maureen has highlighted, we support the
Food Resilience Society grant application.
Food Resilience Society Investment Readiness Program grant application. Yes. Okay. So in favor then?
Aye.
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 And anyone opposed in this group?
Come on, people.
Okay, so we're great.
Okay, next. Sorry, Rod. I'm gonna next you.
Please.
1129. There were a couple of late items. Greenhouse farm project, that's done. There was something in the chat from Marcus. You want to talk about 311 or?
Always push it to another day. I was just thinking it'd be a small opportunity to sort of address what Jody was talking about before. I know in Vancouver, the 311 app has brought a lot of important data to council, and a lot of the issues around playground safety. And you just look at the data of the reporting calls, it's pretty significant in shifting policy and making the political level and the bureaucrat level aware of what is actually on the minds of citizens. Not saying go out and build an app, but if there was a sense that there were these issues of, hey, come bring a chainsaw and cut a tree that's fallen across the road, or come remove a dead deer, or come fix a pothole, reporting it through a single system would create a nice data source for everybody.
Right.
That's really interesting, actually. Yeah. But you get a lot of great information from that. Maybe that's something through that the other grant we were talking about.
Yeah, so I think Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, Ottawa, they've all built their own apps, but I'm sure there's companies out there, and it might be another opportunity, sort of to Rod's point.
I just Googled 311 app, and there appears to be a product that's all market ready that you get. So
Yeah, that might be one of the ones that I mentioned in the chat, but I know there was that guy on Bowen that created the Bowen commuter app. There was the guy in Squamish that created the BC Ferries app. So there are people in the neighborhood that if you wanted to do it from scratch, maybe that could be a long-term play, but test the viability with an app that already exists. It could just be branded Bowen Island.
Okay. Why don't we just raise that at the strategic planning session, Maureen?
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you, Allison.
So that planning session's on the 19th of October. Yeah. So
thank you.
Great. Okay.
I already have a BIM at BIM-BC email, and I don't know how well that is used for notifying.
I was going to jump in, just having done, so we get phone calls to the front desk, we get emails to BIM-BC email, we get emails to Mayor and Council, we get phone calls directly to Public Works, we get phone calls to Parks and Trails, we get Facebook or general store comments. I do think the information is very scattered, and it would be of some use, I think, to have it centralized. My experience.
Maybe mention it to Sophie as well.
Okay.
Maybe everything except Facebook.
Janet will be the one. Pardon?
Maybe everything except the Facebook you want centralized.
Well, yeah.
Could I just mention something under other business? Are we there? Just business licenses. So
right.
In 2021, we'll be going into the 3rd year of business licensing on Bowen, and there will be renewal notices and so forth going out to the community. That might also be a time when we could, as a municipality, request some information on COVID impacts. But if nothing else, it's a time when there's communication going out to the, I think it's about 450 registered businesses now. It's a lot. And if we've got a message we want to get to them, or if there's information we want from them, we could perhaps think about what that might be.
Okay, I can flag that. I'll flag the possibility with Des.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point, Maureen. And also, while we're on that subject, I think there was an opportunity for businesses to defer their 2020 business license fees during COVID. I don't know if that's been extended or has been budgeted or thought of in by the staff or not. But maybe that's something we need to consider
Sorry, I missed that, Raj.
Get sent out. Whether there's a application for relief from business fees due to COVID for businesses
that happened.
Closed or paused.
That did happen.
Yeah, it did happen. But if we're talking about renewals now, then we should have that conversation as well.
Okay, I'll find out.
And I had a very quick idea on that, which is that if we do end up in 2 or 3 months from now with excess budget in the CEDC budget, that we could just recommend that get rolled into a business license relief program, COVID relief program. Anyway, that's a future consideration, and we're at our meeting length time. So unless we have other business, maybe we should wrap it up.
Bye.
I see people nodding.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Okay, so I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Sun is out.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Enjoy the sun.